Hello again, sports fans. Today I'm attempting to get my Volantex Ranger out past the elusive 10 km mark. I've got the place to myself. It's a nice sunny afternoon with very little wind blowing, and I was able to squeeze 2 flights in. In order to give myself the best chance, I'll be using 2 different 5.8 GHz video receivers today. The usual Quantum Overlord, which I've modified slightly to give a slightly flatter angle on one side, and the RSSI ProTrack, which is a tracking antenna that I've used in the past. Both signals will be fed into an Eagle Eyes Diversity FPV station, and the best signal will be output to the monitor and my digital video recorder. As usual, I'll be flying down the river valley to the south of us, and to do that with any hope of success I'll need to climb up to about 400 metres altitude. So the hand launch goes off well, and I climb to a safe altitude and do some quick tests of the Cyclops Tornado autopilot before setting a heading to the south and slipping it into heading hold mode, or PA mode as the Tornado calls it. I managed to get out to just past 5 kilometres before I started having troubles with the video signal. The tracking antenna is the first to go. It starts auto-rotating, looking for a signal, but not long after that the Overlord also goes out. I eventually managed to disengage the tracking servo on the ProTrack, but I don't have much immediate luck in regaining the signal by rotating it manually, so I switched my attention to the Overlord, and I am able to get a picture back, though it's not a great quality. I managed to get out to almost 8 kilometres before the failsafe kicks in and puts the Ranger into automatic return to home. I'm a little bit surprised because the exUHF usually outdistances the video signal by quite a margin. There have been a couple of instances when I've been flying on the eastern side of the valley that the radio has gone out sooner than I expected, and I suspect there's something in the makeup of this particular range that soaks up the UHF signal. I do think about turning back for another go, but I've spent a little bit of battery at the beginning of this flight trimming the plane out, so I decide I will adopt a conservative approach and just fly home, change the battery and have another go. So for the second flight I decided to ditch the prey track antenna and just use the overlord. I don't think it gave me any advantage in the first flight, and managing the two different antennas was actually quite a pain in the backside. So the plan for this flight remains essentially the same. I'll probably take it up a little bit higher and try and keep maybe a little bit more to the eastern side of the valley, but to the western side of the ridge. So I managed to get out to about 7.5 kilometres before the video starts to show some serious degradation. I navigate a bit more to the west and then back to the east in the hopes that I'll intercept the beam of the video receiver, but no such luck. And it looks like the failsafe kicks in at this point and puts the plane into return to home, and she turns around and starts heading back. So I spent a little bit of time messing around with the angle and elevation of the overlord antenna array, and eventually get a picture back and decide I've got enough battery left to turn around and have another shot at it. Rather disappointingly, it doesn't take long for the RSSI to degenerate again, and back she goes into failsafe. So I turn around again and have a couple more goes at trying to find that sweet spot. So in the end, I get out as far as just shy of 8 kilometres before the failsafe kicks in once more, and she turns around and presumably heads for home. So I go back to manipulating the antenna array, trying to get my picture back. And when I can see the mountain in the background, I can see that she's on her way home, and I decide to make it official by flicking it manually into return to home and calling it a day. So, even after such a precision landing, I was still a little bit disappointed. I really thought that the extra flight duration I get with the Ranger was going to give me the opportunity to hunt around for the best signal out at long range, but I wasn't expecting that the flight radio was going to let me down before the video did. It may just have been bad conditions for UHF today, who knows. But I'll check out my antennas and on the transmitter and the receiver just to make sure they're in order. And on the video front, I think I might blow the dust of some of my helical antennas and give them another run.